Welcome to the Anthropology 212 Food and Culture class at the University of South Carolina. The subject matter of this course is food and foodways from an anthropological point of view. And of course, for humans, food is never simply nutrition. This is an anthropology course. What is anthropology? Well, it's the holistic and integrative scientific study of humans. We explore human diversity in space and time. Anthropology considers itself to be a holistic, comparative, interdisciplinary, and cross-cultural field of study. Anthropology has four major subfields of study. Cultural anthropology, which studies cultural behavior. Linguistic anthropology, which studies verbal and nonverbal communication. Archaeology, the study of cultural behavior through material remains. And biological anthropology, the study of humans and their closest relatives as biological species, enmeshed in cultural behavior. How do anthropologists study food? To review, you could ask yourself, what is anthropology? Well, it's the holistic, comparative, cross-cultural study of humans, exploring human diversity in space and through time. What are the four major subfields in anthropology? Cultural, linguistics, biological, and archaeology. In this course, we'll touch on some of the ways each of the four subfields intersect with food studies. However, we will be concentrating on cultural anthropology and food studies. One of the ways in which cultural anthropologists do food studies is through ethnography, the study of a culture. Within this course, we may have several examples, such as focusing on a food system or focusing on single commodities or substances. Cultural anthropologists use food as a framework to examine issues such as gender, identity, ethnicity, life passage, and so on. And many of our readings fall under cultural anthropology or closely related disciplines. This is a cultural anthropology course. Cultural anthropologists often conduct comparative cross-cultural research, and one source of data for such research are the Human Relations Area files. These record cultures historically, current, across the world. Examples, you may look at how different cultures classify foods by hot, cold designations, or you may comparatively look at food avoidances. Cultural anthropology also provides theoretical foundations for studying food. Levi Strauss, a French anthropologist, gave us structuralist interpretations. In this course, we will be reading Mary Douglas and Anne Murcott with symbolic structuralist interpretations. Christine Blake will talk about schema, and we'll talk about practice from Nicholas Newman. Linguistic anthropology may look at taxonomies, that is, how information is organized, and the categories that people use, not to mention the language that they use. For example, what is a vegetable? Or what do people mean when they say kind, such as kind of vegetable, kind of fruit? Or the differences between expert and novice categorization and language. Biological anthropology. Within the subfield of nutritional anthropology, we find a biocultural perspective on the biology and culture of foods and beverages consumed in communal settings and the implications of these for human health. As Nina Etkin said, food and beverages are both biodynamic substances and cultural objects. In this course, we'll be reading Jean Anderson on human nutritional needs, Timothy Johns on palatability, and I'll talk about food as medicine, and Gary Nabhan will introduce us to Native Americans and diabetes. Archaeology, my particular specialty and subfield. What do archaeologists do with food? Well, if they are a paleoethnobotanist like me, they may identify food remains and tell other people what did people eat in the past. They place food within a cultural context. Foodways refers to food in a social and cultural setting and refers to the ways in which a culture obtains or selects food, distributes food, prepares food, serves food, and eats food. Thus, Other archaeological material culture may contribute to interpretations, not simply the plant remains or animal bones. For example, pottery vessels were made to store food, prepare food, serve food, distribute food, and so the shapes and sizes and decorations on these may contribute to an interpretation of food in a social and cultural setting. Archaeologists are in the unique position of being able to tell us about the process of domestication. One quick example is sumpweed, a plant that was important as a domesticate for thousands of years, and yet its use was lost from human memory and only rediscovered by archaeologists. This domesticate is now extinct. All that remains today are the weeds, but in the archaeological record, we can chart the sizes and the increase through time as the plant became domesticated. So you can see from the very small seed on the left to the very large sunflower-sized seed on the right. Archaeologists posit that the red line indicates the point at which above that size the plant was domesticated. Archaeologists ask many of the same questions as cultural anthropologists. In this course, I will talk about North American Indian diet in the 13th century and explain how domestication of small-seeded crops came about. And I will present several historical vignettes from the southeastern United States. The first section in this course is an introduction to food ethics, and our class project on local food resources will be set up during this first section. Your homework is to read for Monday, August 24th, this listed reading. It's not numbered and therefore has no associated online reading quiz, but you can gain extra credit by posting a food injustice story on our discussion board by 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday, September 26th, after reading Dixon 2013, Learning to See Food Justice.